So I recommend we go ahead and start the meeting, and then we have the fourth board member that will join us within 30 minutes, and we will not do anything that requires a motion, I guess, till he's here. And in the meantime, I just, Jeff Mailbeck is here, our new executive director, starting effective in October 1, but is in town looking for a home, so he's attending some of our meetings this week, so.
Okay, we'll do.
Thank you, Zach.
Give me a second. We'll call the meeting to order. We've got to do the pledge of allegiance and a very quick moment of silence. Keep moving the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Madam Clerk, would you please take the roll?
Here.
Spence and Wayne Schmidt.
Here. All right. Let's do the first round of public comment. If you please read the.
Any interested party or person may address the board on any matter of being concern during public comment. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes, and a 1-minute warning will be given when needed. Any public comment that becomes disruptive, unduly repetitive, or impedes the orderly progress of the meeting may be terminated by the proceeding officer. Once you have completed your public comment, the board may ask any clarifying questions. If needed, you will be assigned a member of the Beta board staff to follow up directly on any open concerns.
All right. Are there any members of the public that wish to comment? Yeah, if you'd say your name.
You guys know me, Justin Reed.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Live here in Garrison, Michigan. Garcia resident. I just want to say that with the new shelters that have been put in place, I think that's pretty good. Because not having a vehicle, not having a car is the more population that we have. We need public transit. I see it more and more that, expenses go up. And if you don't have public transit option there, then someone has to go to work. It's nice to have that. So I really appreciate it. And hopefully with I came because you guys have a new director. So I wanted to kind of sit in and see how that goes. So thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, sit next to him.
And there'll be. He'll start October.
Yes.
All right. Well, we can't do an approval of an agenda yet. Can't do consent calendar. Waiting for that. So we do reports. Let's do reports.
Chairperson? That's me.
Yeah, we can't do that. Oh, you can do an executive. Yeah, there we go. Let's do that.
Then I could still just give a couple highlights of it while everybody's together.
Short meetings.
Yeah, so the first one, I would just, you should have it in your packet on page 56. So my report is in there representing all of our director level positions. And so just a few of the highlights that are already reflected in there. One is we did meet with our Teamsters during contract negotiations this past Monday. Details of that will be in our closed session at the end of the meeting, but just wanted to let you know we did have our first meeting. Also, another highlight, Wayne Stevens, who you've met before, working really hard on advertising, and almost 100% of our eligible budget. He's here. Wait.
Yes, he's here. Yes.
Just doing a great job on
Thank you.
advertising. So good job.
Thank you.
Also, our new shelter, as Justin said, our new shelter installations are completed and the new benches were added to the Lafreniere transfer. They're amazing, really nice ones and very high quality. I met with our project manager and representatives from Garfield Township, Grand Traverse County Road Commission, and just asked them after consulting with some of our staff to see what process needs to be done to get the speed limit reduced on the Frenier Road. Currently, it's not posted, but it's 55 miles an hour. And as we have a transfer station there and we're looking at a crosswalk being installed that is required as part of the PUD that we agreed to, we have to have a crosswalk. And we just thought before we start having a crosswalk there, what's the process for requesting the speed limit to be reduced? We had a very good meeting. They asked me to put some things in writing by, let's see, we met probably Wednesday, and they asked me to have something in writing by the end of the day, Thursday, but I did get it to them Wednesday night. So they were meeting last night. I've not heard yet today what the next step will be, but we're hoping that we can get that process. Eventually, it's the state police that approved the speed limit reduction, but we have to go through Garfield Township first. So I will let you know how that proceeds. In the meantime, we're not going forward with putting that crosswalk in yet. We had a great turnout at Friday Night Live the last two Fridays, and lots of people were in attendance. Very hot day. Eric and Bill Clark and Max, one of our mechanics that dresses up, was there, and Wayne Stevens was there, and just a great turnout and great representation for us. Also, they participated in the 2025 Leelanau County Senior Expo and provided information to more than 100 seniors who turned out for that. We've ramped up the promotion for our airport early morning service to try and get that ridership up. It's still running pretty low, and we are trying to do everything we can do to get the advertisements out for that. IT team is working really hard to recreate a transit TV. And our MDOT officially approved our 2026 annual application. And those are the main highlights. A lot of great things going on. We had a meeting with all our employees yesterday. Our new executive director was in attendance, so he was able to kind of see how that goes. And we had some really good dialogue with all of our staff, and a lot of accolades that came in. Like I didn't even count them. Clearly, some great comments that came in, and actually Tracy probably has those reflected in your board packet as well. Any questions of me?
What is a transit TV?
Transit TV?
Transit TV is an application we use at so I don't know if you've been into the parking garages like Hardy as well as Old in here as well. It basically shows when the next bus is arriving.
Okay,
And it's what happened is Transit TV no longer supported their application.
I see.
So we reached out to another transit. They gave us the code that they actually use and actually made the code a little bit better.
Oh.
So now we're working with our web developer to get that put in, get that kind of developed for beta, and then putting it back out. So we're actually really close to doing that and having that out and it's back up in operation. So they can see next bus to arrive at the parking garage on this one.
We don't have to pay a third party for that.
Correct.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it's all going to be managed in-house. We're, even hosting it ourselves as well.
We offered to pay them for it. We said, if you keep this application, they said, no, we don't want it,
They
but
just sunset.
here's the data, you can do whatever you want to with it. So,
That's great.
Cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The other thing if I could just
Oh,
add is prior to the meeting, Gwen Elgar had called in that she would not be in attendance, that she was going to be out of town. And just prior to the meeting, Fern Spence called that she woke up sick this morning, so she's not able to even be here.
Excused absence.
Yes.
I thought Trace Friday.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody was
Not top, but she did that way. All right, we can do the finance reports. Joe will catch up.
Yes. Justin is not here today, so I will be doing those for him.
Oh, that'll be good.
So, yeah.
Oh, this would be fun for me then.
Attack me, John.
Yeah, you got a whole.
Time to go, baby. Here we go.
Bring it on.
No, I lived them all over.
Yeah, and
I did too.
Tracy did put in the minutes in case you had any questions for Justin before he left. He had
Right.
planned this a year ago, so he's excused absence also.
Yeah.
But we can start on page 59. You can see some of the Michigan class continues to bring in great interest rates for us on page 59. Our accounts receivable, that has some outstanding invoices that we're waiting on. We will get them. We also have some money coming from MDOT, so you can see where we're waiting on those receivables. New facility construction costs, you can see with a footnote on number 6. Accrued expenses, that will be reduced. That's the Chrisman retainage. So that will end up being reduced as well. Page 61, the income statement, you can see our total income, 9.6 mil, and total expenses about 9.444. So a net income before depreciation of 161.
By the way, I'm going to quick interject. I like how you put in the note there that local bus operating monies will be arriving late.
Yeah.
So our cash flow, good thing Justin's got us, well, all of you, but Justin specifically have us in a good cash position to,
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
weigh that out. a
May or
little
may
bit.
not be needed, but we do have the cash flow available to us if needed, if it comes,
Yeah.
it is gonna come in later than we normally get it.
You won't see a budget till October 1.
Is that, do we normally have it by now though on that state budget that's been delayed or? not?
We, not now, but we normally would have it in a few weeks, but it is not gonna be here now, it's gonna be more like October.
What's up with your buddies?
Do you want the partisan or not
No.
partisan?
Page 63, you can see our operating reserve currently at 26.7%. The board has set a maximum of 30%, so we are within that. And it's a good thing we do have that, so. Also 64, that's our capital reserve. We will have a capital plan to you for the 25-26 at our September board meeting.
Right.
Yeah. And then page 65, that's our new facility reserve fund. You can see we're at a projected fund balance there of 1.7 million. So our new facility, new headquarters is below budget and what's ahead of schedule. This House Street budget is taking a little longer and a little bit above budget, but still has a net balance in it. The flooring here, for example, is not acceptable to our standards, so they're having to redo it. That's not at our expense, but it's going to be nice when it's done. In the end, we have an extra bath, 2 bathrooms instead of 1 for our staff. And the flooring is what really needed improvement. It's been all painted outside there. The passenger bathrooms have had great improvement. And the break room for our staff has been expanded as well. So it's coming along really well. Not to mention the Zone 5.
We do a brief tour next when it's done. We do a brief tour.
Yes.
It's done.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Good thing.
They've been good to work with, and I would commend Kurt Braun, who's our facilities manager. When we meet every other week with the contractors here, and it's okay is not a good enough standard for BATA. So he's been very vocal and held our standards just like our headquarters. Our headquarters ended up very well done, and our punch list is down to probably 10 items still on that, so that's good. So it's improving every day. Page 66 to 68, you can see our, if you go over to the blue column second from the right, the blue column, that's our revised budget for 2026. And you can see the total revenue at the bottom, almost 14 mil, 13.976. And
That state percentage that's stated there, 30.59. We're not confident, we're not sure on that. Is that,
Right.
that's the estimate? Okay.
yes, that's what we're going
That's the
with
best
now.
estimate right now.
Yes.
Hmm.
And then revenue in excess of eligible expenses on page 68, you can see the 531, second column from the right at the bottom. So we're anticipating a good budget, but we just don't know what surprises can come in there, and we're going to get them a little later than normal. So we're glad we're prepared for them. Any questions on highlights of the budget?
When's Justin get back again?
After 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's had this in for.
Oh, no, that's not the question.
He's allowed to take vacation.
No, he's
Yeah.
on the vacation. I just was curious when he's back.
Yeah,
So
we'll be
that-
back within 2 weeks. If you have any other questions, though, I would be glad to come now and get
Figured
them.
if, John or something.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
That's good.
All right, thank you. I mean, we've got cash reserves, we're good. That's. Any old business? Seeing none, my chairman's report was great. It was short, non-existent. So let's move on to new business. We can't do anything for the budget recommendations yet. Let's do the fare box presentation.
Yes.
We can definitely do that.
Yeah, we can speed through that.
Speed, we'll try. We'll try.
You know me.
Don't rush too fast. I still have.
Oh, that's true.
12 minutes.
No.
Joking, so, you know.
And I should say, does everyone know Sean Hanley, our procurement
I
coordinator?
don't think I've met you.
Good to have you here.
Nice to meet you.
Sean does great work with obtaining our buses. It's a major process applying for grants.
Yeah, procurement's no joke.
Yeah.
Does a great job, Sean. Really great. Graduate of MSU, been here probably a year and a,
2
2 years.
2 years
2
already.
years.
No longer than you guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tiger tickets? Sorry, just kidding. I came out of the procurement world
Yeah.
in the old school.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore.
I'm a salesman, so.
And a lot of changes with us going from a rural to a small urban that he's been on top of for us.
Yeah, all right, Eric.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, so this is going to be a joint presentation between myself, Paul and Sean, because all three of us have been kind of leading this project here at BATA because it's a big one for us. This is the full kind of overhaul and replacement of our antiquated fare system. And so we wanted to provide an update to the board of where we're at in this project and kind of get some thoughts and talk about next steps. So I'll let Paul kick us off here.
And it's on page 71 of your.
Yeah.
packet.
So we've been researching a lot of different fare systems, the technology, the software, the kind of the customer experience, see what the riders are going to see, what's going to streamline our processes and make things more efficient, but at the same time make it more account based. So our ridership will be able to, they'll have a path that's assigned to them specifically, so we'll know exactly what their tendencies are. We can cater our services specifically to our ridership, where now we have paper tickets that are untrackable. If somebody loses it, that can still be used anywhere. So it kind of brings in all these new technologies, but it also simplifies our system at a decreased cost, which is what we're looking to do as well. So we've gone through multiple different vendors, and we've kind of limited it down to a couple of different options, but we did bring this to the board back in, I think it was last year, and it was approved for a full fare box replacement. When we first did that fare replacement, it looked like the budget was going to be right around 1.35 million to replace our fare system with the similar technology to what we're currently running. What we're looking to do is transition into a validation system, which is more of just a reader that's on a bus. It's a small, simple little piece of hardware. And then what happens is they basically go on, they can use any kind of card device. They can use their debit card if it has contacts. They use their phone, they can use their apps. It gives them multiple ways to pay with a specific account. And when we price this out, it looks like the cost for that would be about $500,000 to $600,000. So we're saving half of what we're budgeted for by going this route, but adding tons of functionality to our system.
I was gonna say, because
That's incredible.
we talked about it last fall, and it was, I do remember that it was, I thought it was 1.5, quite frankly, that we were talking about.
Well, yeah, when they did the first initial, they said it'd be a 1.35, but after going back, it was actually closer to 2. I think it was like 1.8.
There
It
was
went up to.
something.
It increased. So then we said, let's look at some other options, and then we found these options that a lot of transits are going with.
And just to remind you guys, so our current fare system it's called Gen Fare, okay? It is antiquated. The fare boxes that are on the buses are no longer supported by the vendor. So Paul and his team are piecemealing them together. They're keeping the readers going and things like that. Gen Fare's like, no, we're not supporting these anymore. You can buy our brand new system type of thing, but you're on your own with that. And then the back end of the system that we have currently is very antiquated too. It's basically a glorified Excel spreadsheet that just kind of sucks in the data, and that's how we keep track of our fare box revenue right now. So it's that sale. It's time to bring a new system on board.
Yeah, and those reports for accounting are very inaccurate, we found. There's, it depends. Sometimes it's 10 to 15% inaccurate. So we kind of been going through, these systems are one-to-one. We'll know exactly what we're collecting on the vehicle, what we're collecting through the apps, and we'll have good metrics to kind of see, how the riders are paying, how things are progressing through there. So it seems like a very great option, and if it's beta, and it's also going to make the footprint on the bus where we have that big fare box, that goes away. We have one reader sitting on an actual pole. It gets powered by PoE, so it's one cable run. So we're going to actually, they do installs for these like you break through a third party, but we're actually going to install all these in-house. So we're going to cut that cost as well. So that also brings our cost down. So that $500-600 is what an all-inclusive price. We might even be able to get that further down by doing in-house installation ourselves.
Well.
So far we've reached out to these companies and transit to try to get information about what they're doing. We reached out. We had demos of Token Transit in it, Easy Fare, which uses Masabi and NeoRide. We spoke to transit agencies in Hawaii. They use Masabi, Toledo, Ohio, which is using Easy Fare, and Ann Arbor, Michigan, which uses Easy Fare and Gen Fare. And when we spoke with them, they like, oh, you fix all your Gen Fare stuff in house. Would you be able to assist us with fixing our stuff? I said, yeah, no problem. They even asked if they could get some of our old hardware when we remove it. So when we do take everything out, we're going to store it and see if we want to ship that down to them and sell it to Ann Arbor so they can utilize that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So it is expensive.
We're gonna put it on.
Correct.
I'm just picking out downstate,
Yeah.
not necessarily Ann Arbor.
I'm fine with that.
Transit.
Yeah.
Downstate.
That's Travis City second.
Yeah. So they are still using Gen Fare, but because they didn't have the funding to do some other additional things, but they use Easy Fare and Gen Fare together.
So this is what we put together internally as a team, as far as like what our wish list would be. If we could wave a magic wand and what we would like to see in a new fare system. So we want it to be cloud-based. So we're not hosting it on our own servers, which that's currently what we're doing with our Gen Fare system. We'd like it to be cloud-based. That's what we've been doing with all of our technologies that we've been bringing on board, is having it be cloud-based. Having functionality to fare cap, and we can talk about that later. Open fare payment, which means it can take any type of fare. So it could use a fare card. You could use your credit card on the bus if you wanted to. You could use your Apple Pay or your Google Wallet and tap it on the fare box and pay through any type of method. Definitely looking at the benefits of account-based, having smart card functionality. We wanted to be able to integrate with our two new technologies that we brought on, which was our CAT AVL system, which is a GMV Synchromatics product, and our microtransit system, which is VIA, and how do those connect. We wanted to have a web portal that could be both internal and external. We want a mobile ticketing app. We've been using a third-party vendor for our mobile ticketing, but we'd like one integrated into our fare system. The ability for passengers to remotely fill and purchase fare. Onboard validator, Paul already talked about some of the benefits of that. Maybe a vending machine option for people to purchase cards outside of Hall Street, because right now this is the only place that you can purchase fare, is right here at this location. But also the ability to track ridership better and how fare is being used, and then the ability to go cash versus cashless. And we'll talk about that in a minute too. But this was kind of the magic wand that we put together for what we wanted to see happen. And so as we were kind of doing our research and talking to different transit agencies and different vendors, one of the things that kept popping up was, hey, you should check out this Easy Fare. We kept like, okay, Easy Fare, what's Easy Fare? So Easy Fare is a fare system that is put together by a conglomerate of transit agencies, okay, that is part of a group called NeoRide. NeoRide is 30+ transit agencies that come together and use their purchasing power for procurement and for grants, okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about them. They're a co-op. They're like a charity co-op, yep, that kind of pool the resources. And they've created their own fare system called Easy Fare, okay? It actually uses a vendor called Masabi, which is like a GenFare, but they're a better company than GenFare. But they branded it Easy Fare. So if you purchase Easy Fare from NeoRide, you get access to the entire Masabi suite of technologies. Okay, you do have to join the co-op to be able to get Easy Fare. Okay, they've done all the homework already for the fare systems. So they've already, and I'll get into this detail too, gone out and done the vetting of the RFPs, the cost analysis, all of those type of things from that perspective. And if you purchase Easy Fare through the co-op, it's cheaper than going alone and buying directly from the company. Okay. So Sean, do you want to walk through the procurement side of things and what this looks like?
So that top graph is the cost comparison between the standard Masabi cost as opposed to doing Easy Fare through NeoRide. So it's over a 3-year, which is similar to what we would do for a software type agreement with a technology company. It's about $100,000 in savings over 3 years. I actually listened to a tech talk yesterday, put on by the state of Michigan, and they say entering agreements with these co-op type organizations saves at least 20% as opposed to going out on your own. And from what we've heard from Ann Arbor and Toledo, it's been a great resource. There's other softwares and other technologies that are included in NeoRide that we would entertain in the future as well. But so seeing $543, $490 for standard Masabi pricing versus $442 in NeoRide, that's that $100,000 in savings. So we have $232,000 in grant funding that's either awarded to us already or it's reserved for us that we'll apply for in October of 2025. So that would be a local funds of $210,000 that we're estimating that we would need for a 3-year commitment with Easy Fare.
So let's go back to the co-ops.
Sure.
Is there a board that manages that?
Correct.
We have a seat at the table,
If we join, we would. Yes.
So you want to skip ahead?
equal votes for each member, or is it by revenue, or how's that work?
I think it's
equal votes.
equal votes. Yeah. You can skip ahead. You can skip ahead. We'll come back to this.
Mhm.
One more. So here's NeoRide. Okay. They're 10 states. They have 37 transit agency members right now. Annual cost of BATA would be $4K to join the co-op. And that we included into the estimate, even with the savings when looking at the whole fare system. Let's see, what's the next slide? There are 37 members. This is just some of their accolades. They've helped successfully do $20 million and procure. They've done 10 different procurements. So they have other procurements outside of just the fare system, and we'll talk about that too. Next slide. So this is what we would be. We would need to be an attending member for the meetings, sign on, participate to their projects and grants as we feel that we want to be part of them, and then be part of new initiatives that they bring on board. And then this is kind of the things for being part of NeoRide. Oh, so these are the other things where we think we would benefit from joining NeoRide too. So this is why we want to join. Is Masabi. It's the Easy Fare system, right? Okay. But BATA is also currently using VIA and Remix as well. And from our initial calculations, so both of these agreements are coming due next year. Our current contract for 3 years ends in 2026 next year. Potentially, we could re-up our agreements with these two technologies through NeoRide and get a savings for next year type of thing.
Substantial savings.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So this is my pitch to sell us on joining.
For 4K. You'll save us how much?
Well, at least
John, you need to keep that.
at least 100 on
I owe you a couple of years.
on this. Do I have any other Neo rides? Oh, so this is really tiny print, but if to join Neo Ride, we would have to have a formal resolution by the board saying we're joining Neo Ride, and then we have access to all of their procurements and grants and things like that. So is there anything else on Neo Ride?
So no, there's no stock. In the beginning, it's just to buy, it's just a 4K a year.
That's right.
Based on, I see it's based on tiers of ridership.
Correct.
Tell us
Yes.
about this.
Yes. So as you become a bigger transit agency, your annual fee goes higher. Yes.
That's a substantial chunk we would need in ridership to get to the next tier.
Yeah.
Let's say that one more time.
To get to the next tier where it would be more than 4,000, we would have to see a huge increase in ridership.
Jeff,
It's more like Cincinnati, Cleveland
Oh,
size.
gotcha.
I'm just joking. I don't think we're gonna get to Cincinnati or Cleveland, so. Just,
Hey,
you know,
maybe Jeff will listen.
come October.
Yeah.
Just check.
Flagstaff was doing 2 million, right?
2.5.
2.5.
Okay, there we
So,
go.
yeah.
There we go.
Can you go back to the one slide where it had all the different fare vendors? One more, that one.
Yep.
So just so you can see, they did all the homework already. Masabi was the one, but they looked at Cubic, who we also looked at, and a bunch of other fare systems. And Masabi was the one that won their selection to be their easy fare vendor. And this is the second time they've re-upped with Masabi as their easy fare vendor. Great. Yep.
What kind of service level agreements does Masabi have? You know, I'm just curious, like if it's cloud based, so if things go down, I mean, what are we looking at for their response time?
It's a great question. We haven't gotten to that level of detail yet with them, but you can definitely check into that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that when you're doing the procurement, that we've got good SLAs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within that agreement.
So what happens in most cases, the data is stored remotely so our GMV and VIA systems are cloud-based, right?
Mhm.
What happens, you correct me if I'm wrong, the data gets stored on the tablets themselves, and then when we get cloud connectivity again, it reconnects back into the system again.
Yeah,
So-
it caches everything, and then once it's ready to resync, we sync everything back.
Okay.
So everything on vehicles will still work even without connection.
Even without the connection.
For
Okay.
instance.
Yes.
That's, yeah. Main worry is all of a sudden, you know, we're down and we have 2 weeks of no revenue.
Oh, yeah, no, we have redundant systems for redundant systems, just to make sure that, if something does fail, we always have something backing it up.
Yeah. All right, so now skip ahead to the fare structure discussion. Okay, so we've run through the fare system. We've talked about Neo Ride. So bringing on a new fare system would also lend itself to making adjustments to our fare structure. Okay. BATA hasn't changed its fares in more than 15 years. Our current fare, you can see right there on the screen, our city loop is $1.50. That's anything in town. Reduced fare is there's a half off of that. Our village loop is anything that goes out into the Sutton's Bay and Interlochen is $3. Reduced fare is $1.50. And then our door-to-door micro transit is $6 with reduced being $3. And then we have a variety of fare types. And then BATA currently generates between $600,000 and $700,000 in fare. In fiscal year 24, we did 651 as far as that goes. Okay, so something for us to think about as we're bringing on a new fare system is, do we want to tweak the fare structure as well when we're rolling this new system out? Justin has already started to look at it a little bit, and when we come to our September meeting, we'll bring you more detailed information. But there's different ways that we can determine our fares. We can look at percent of revenue like a goal, or we can look at flat versus distance based. We can look at time based. We could look at zone based fares. There's lots of things that we can do with our fare structure with a new system. We can't do any of that kind of stuff with GenFare currently, but we could with the Easy Fare technology. We also, one of the things that we would be able to offer with this system is called fare capping, okay? Fare capping is where you spend a certain amount either on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis. And once you reach that cap of amount that you spend, the rest of your trips that day, that week, or that month are free because you've spent enough money to equal a pass. So for example, right now in our current system, our commuter pass is $40 for the month. You get to ride 31 days unlimited on for $40. So if you reached that $40 threshold, well, you should have bought a commuter pass because that would have been there. You would have free rides after that particular point type of thing. So that's another thing that we'll have to discuss is, all right, are we going to adopt fare capping and what do those thresholds look like from that perspective? And what does that mean financially for BATA too, from that perspective?
Do we know, do we have knowledge of what the trend line has been by customers? So we said, if we modeled that and said, okay, if we did it, if we had it in place before, this is where do we have that kind of data? Or?
So when we created the commuter pass 4 or 5 years ago, we did that analysis. We looked at how much is the average rider spending? What should we price it for a monthly based fare type of thing? So we'd have to run an analysis like that again. Yep. And then the other thing too, just for us to keep in the back of our heads is most likely we will be having a millage request next year in 2026. So just changing fare structure, how does that impact our community appetite too? If we're changing the fare structure and having a millage in the same year. This project to roll out, once we get the green light, will take about 6 to 9 months to roll out. So it would probably be spring, early summer of 2026 when we would roll out a new fare system. Okay. And the other thing to think about too, all right, let's say we don't change our fare structure. We roll out this new technology. We have a millage request in November or the fall of next year. And then we ask to change the fares later too. What does that look like from a cadence perspective too?
Yeah.
So just things to keep in mind. Then the last piece that I'm just going to leave you guys with, as far as a nugget to kind of to digest in your head, is cash versus cashless. Mainly on the vehicles, okay? So this is another thing that with a new fare system that we could consider. Currently in fiscal year 24, we collected $218,000 in cash on the fare box. So physically people taking cash and putting it in the fare box to pay for their fares. That's 34% of our fare capture, okay? There are a number of benefits of not taking cash on the bus. So some of them is it reduces cash counting time and processing. It's less maintenance on, that's probably one of the biggest things that we have trouble with is bills being processed in these mechanical machines on the buses. It's easier payment for the riders when not doing cash, and it's faster boarding times. So, it's tap and go versus putting, quarters and dimes and nickels and things into the fare box. And if we did cash, there could still be places where cash could be used to purchase fares. Could be Hall Street, could be vending machines. Some of like Masabi has a network of places like you can go into 7-Eleven and Walgreens and different places like that, Dollar General, and give cash to them, and they'll put it onto a BATA pass for you too. It's called Incom is the system. Now, there are cons to not accepting cash on the vehicle, especially for riders who use cash as their main form of currency. It'd be a big change in behavior for them to kind of adjust to that. A lot of education and communication would be needed. I think a lot of education and communication is going to be needed for a new fare system, period. But cash versus cashless is another thing that would take a whole nother layer that we'd have to get behind. And then we'd also have a little bit of an additional expense for adding those ticketing vending machines, depending on where we put them at. Like if we had one here when Hall Street is closed, or if we had one over at Lafreniere where the transfer area is at, or if we had one at Meyer, those range anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000, depending on how many of those we would want to add to our system if we went cash versus cashless.
Not each.
Each one's about 50K or more, depending on the
Wrong business.
on the functionality of the machine that you want to have.
Each machine for every bus is gonna be 50K.
So it'd not be per bus, it would be per location that we would have a vending machine. So
Probably have at least 3.
Okay.
yeah, I would say at least 2 or 3 around the network type of thing.
You gotta make sure you really understand your customer before you make that decision.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm not, just think through that one.
I'm just gonna put cash or card.
I would say I usually use the card.
Okay.
flip that.
Figure we ask a rider right now. There you go.
So this is our rider behavior right now. 43% of riders use some sort of card, whether a zip ticket, a Zoom card, a commuter, or a student. 34% currently use cash. 23% use a digital payment option. So they either use their a mobile ticketing app, or they pay through one of our apps like our BATA Link app or things like that. So this would impact this 34% of our ridership if we decided to go down that path.
And it looked like it's trending 3% over the year down on cash side.
Yeah.
So I think it's trending 3% every year, 3% further. from cash.
Every year, cash goes down and card and digital go up
Yeah,
a
Venmo.
little bit.
You have Venmo?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I got my business Venmo is now 32%, but when it started, it was not much, but it's there. Folks.
So with this new fare system, you could pay via Venmo on
Yeah.
our fare box. Yep.
And if that was the recommendation, then time would be spent working with our passengers on how do we get to cash, if that's going to be the recommendation, and how do we make it available to them to get cash easier at like a Meyer or here or somewhere. So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only concern going cashless is like, what community does that?
Right,
yeah.
Those are rebels.
Right, and we looked at those options too for like the bankless, people that are bankless, they have abilities to go in, so they can come into here and say, hey, I want to put $20 on a card. They can do
Yeah.
that. They can go into the Dollar General. too.
My question is, how do they get here if they have cash and they can't
Well, they can even,
ride the bus here, right? That's
Yeah.
There is some
Like-
forethought. I mean,
yeah,
Well, we just want to be transparent on all the issues. So these are all the issues in the next 6 to 9 months that need to be explored. We just wanted to give you the information now so we can process.
Yeah, slide real quick. So, questions, comments, and then we're going to revisit this topic at the September board meeting and come with a formal recommendation for the board to, one, proceed with the easy fare procurement is what we're going to ask for, and 2, to join Neo Ride, which is the co-op of transit agencies. The third piece, the fare structure, does not have to be decided now.
yeah.
But it's something that we need to start thinking about as we're onboarding this technology.
Yeah, I'd want to look at the numbers.
Yep.
Really understand the exact, and is it necessary, do we need to do it?
you'll see.
There's a lot of things to be considered.
Yeah.
You had me till you got to this cash discussion.
Yeah.
I was like all in, man,
Darn it.
but I'm like, I got to put the brake on.
Okay.
I'm just tapping the brakes right now.
Okay.
The issue with going back, so if we do go back to cash, the issue we'll have is we'll have to shift back into that Gen Fares kind of system.
Oh, really?
So those kind of machines that take
See, I
cash.
didn't say that.
So once you do that, that's gonna push us back into that $1.8 million procurement versus that full 500,000.
You're yucking my yum, man. You're yucking my yum.
Just
So there would
just to put it out.
to be
So-
some sort of mechanism to collect cash on the bus.
Yeah.
So whether it be a more
I think
advanced,
you can figure that out.
Yeah.
we could, yeah, whether it's a more advanced piece of machinery, like the fare box, which would cost more because it has to collect cash, or if we go old school and have a traditional just cash box
So they
that
catch in the clear.
Yeah.
people drop in,
That's an
that,
option.
yeah,
I know, it's, I I know, that's,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
I
that's
get-
why we're spreading it over a couple months. We're not asking for any decisions at this meeting.
And we can do a couple of focus groups.
Yeah, I'd love to do some research on some other
Oh,
transit agencies that have made that transition.
That's where student-
I like the co-op concept. That's cool.
Yeah.
And as long as we have a seat at the table, you
Mhm.
know, we're not getting ran out of it at all.
It gives us that extra leverage against, against those companies, because if you're single transit, it's like, okay, yeah, they're gonna try to get the money out of you.
There's pretty good savings.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
They did a great job.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could ask Sean.
Please.
Fairbox Technology is eligible for 80% match from federal funding, is that right? Correct. So if we had the federal funding, we wouldn't need 200,000 local.
We have 232,000 federal and state funds already either awarded or reserved for us already.
And I guess my question is, if we had additional federal funds, we could supplant the need for local funds.
Correct.
Okay,
We would just need another source of where that would come from.
okay, thank you.
All right, great. We've got our homework for next month.
Yes.
Okay, with that, we're gonna get going back, speed go drag now. We're gonna go back to approval of the agenda and all of that. There a motion that we approve? Okay, second,
Second,
moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Consent calendar. We know what it does. Yeah, we
The
should.
purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board, staff, or public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed or placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will be automatically respected. If an item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted in the parentheses on the agenda is approved by a single board action adopting the consent calendar. Consideration of approving the following minutes: regular board meeting minutes of June 16th, 2025, special meeting minutes of July 10th, 2025, special meeting minutes of July 21st, 2025. And consideration of accepting the following reports: fiscal year 25 Q3 ridership report, the fiscal year 25 Q3 turnover report, fiscal year 25 Q3 strategic plan update, correspondence, staff compliments, and the beta board checker.
Motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve, is there a second?
second.
Moved and seconded, do we need roll call for that? No,
Not for that.
no, not for this. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, consent done, executive, done, new business. We'll go to page 66.
We did our
Budget.
budget, so then now we're just
Yeah.
lacking the motion.
Motion to approve the revised budget as presented. Moved by Underwood, seconded by,
Second.
there we go. All right. Since the budget, let's do a quick roll call on it. Please.
Sure. Alex. Johnson LaBelle,
Yes,
Lance Bowmer,
Yes.
Joe Underwood,
Yes.
Dennis Thompson, and Wayne Schmidt.
Yes. All right, second is on page 69. Again, the recommended motion is that Beta directors approve a lump sum payment of $27,525 to the MERS Administrative Defined Benefit Plan as presented. Is there a motion?
Page 69.
Page 69.
That is what I thought.
Sorry.
Page 69, and I might add a comment on that. As you know, those have been on the board before in the past, every year, we pay a lump sum to bring our contributions up to 100%. This year, it's quite lower than previous years.
couldn't believe all
I
that.
know.
Yeah.
I did pull some records, in 23, it was 472,000 lump sum, in 24 it was 170,000 lump sum. So now to bring us up to the full 100%, for the month of September, we pay a 27,525 lump sum.
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Or so,
Yeah, all set. Roll call, please.
Somerville,
aye, yes.
Bowman,
Yes.
Joe Underwood,
Yes.
and Commissioner Raymond.
Yes.
Good.
All right, thank you. Now, we're gonna move into closed session. Is there a motion to go in closed session at 1:50 PM for the purposes under section 8 of the open meeting act, strategy and negotiation of collective bargaining agreement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in
Thank you.
Oh, I gotta make a quick work call because we're getting crushed. Second.
I'm done.
Oh, yeah. So you guys motion to adjourn?
Hey, yeah, I'm just stepping.
There's no public, quick, I'm almost done, what's up?
The public, any director's comment, open floor comments?
Sorry to make you guys all wait. I apologize.
We got through it.
Hey, I mean, I think we got
We're done.
the same amount of time.
We're done 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Need a motion to adjourn.
Or shortly.
So moved.
Thank you.
All right.